What's cracking with your snacking snacker stars? It's me, the BRE, the man in the backwards hat, Brandon from the sAs Snack Food Appreciation Society, with you for another Frozen Friday edition of Pizza Night. Even though it's blazing hot outside, it's cold in the freezer aisle, and I found something else to try out for Pizza Night. I'll be right back to let you know what it is. Never fear, Pizza Night is here. Grab yourself a big old can of beer for Friday night. It's August 12th, 2016. We got the Cat's Who's Who in Bad Cats. Cat aspires to be a ventriloquist, but so far has only gotten as far as holding a puppet. I have no idea what they're talking about there, but today it's another Frozen Friday, despite the fact that it's like 100 freaking degrees outside, and I visited my local Giant Food. As you can tell by the little fruit salad logo, you might know it as Stop and Shop or Martin's in your area. There is the signature pastry thin crust meatball pizza, and it's basically a flatbread, if you will, and it's topped with tomato sauce, meatballs, a blend of Romano, mozzarella, and Parmesan cheeses, as well as basil. Anyway, this thing was $5.49 at the local Giant on sale. It was supposed to be $4.99, but I was in the self-checkout and I used my, club card and everything, and it still only took off 50 cents. So, hey, who knows? I got ripped off. What else is new? Taking a look at the box, you see the ingredients laid out up in front of you. It looks pretty good. They wanted me to preheat this thing to 425, and of course it's got to go on the rack. I don't know when they started doing that. Every pizza does that now, though. You gotta put it right on the rack so stuff melts down and drops down into the bottom of your oven. Anyway, read that if you want to. There's the cooking instructions, 17 to 18 minutes or something. Yep, 17 to 19. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and check that thoroughly after about 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes, and then maybe put it in their broiler. And they want something to be golden brown and melted or something. Alright guys, let me take this thing out of the box and show you what it looks like in its frozen state. And away we go. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. Yep, you got meatballs, you got cheese, you got tomato sauce indeed. Lots of cheese on this thing. It actually looks pretty good in terms of the cheese. Looks like the meatballs rolled around a little bit in transit. Might have to try to reposition those later. Otherwise, looks pretty good. The only thing I would say is the shape of it looks like an old school CRT picture TV tube or something, whereas that's more rectangular there. So I don't really know about that. Maybe it's the artisanal, factor going on there. Not every one of them looks the same, brother. Anyway, I'm going to stick this bad boy in the oven, and I'll be right back right after this with more Pizza Night. Alright gang, I'm back and I've got this bad boy out of the oven. Let's take a look at it in all its glory. There it is. Really doesn't look much different from its counterpart up there, does it? I don't think so, other than the fact that the edges got ever so darkened. This thing went only about 10 to 13, I checked it at 10 minutes, turned it, and it went another 3 minutes. So about 13 minutes total in the oven. Did not even bother putting it into the broiler because it doesn't look like it really needs it. The cheese is nice and melted. You got lots of browning along the edges. Looks like the meatballs are nice and juicy and well done. Alright guys, let me go ahead and grab those pizza scissors over there and cut this bitch up, and I'll be right back. One thing I can tell you is that it's definitely a pastry-like crust, as they indicate on the box over there. Because when I was cutting it up with the scissors, I could hear the various layers cutting one by one. That's very interesting. Let me go ahead and pick up this 420 slice, or I guess which would be 315 to 330 or 430 there. And it looks pretty interesting at that angle, almost like a real slice of pizza. From this angle, kind of flat. There's like no give to this thing whatsoever. It's a little brown on the bottom, but not too bad. Smells absolutely fantastic, I'll tell you that much. Alright guys, I'll be right back to taste this thing and give you a rating on it on Pizza Night. Alright gang, I am back, as you can see, wearing my football jersey, my Redskins jersey to be exact. Preseason football is upon us, and it's time to eat pizza and watch football. What can I say? All right, guys, let me go ahead and pick up this slice, which I called the 420 before, and show it to you next to my noggin, the way I always do. And it's a pretty good slice because you're slicing this thing basically up in 4s. If you slice it up in 8s, it's going to give some pretty dinky little slices. So I recommend slicing it up in 4ths. Anyway, let me go ahead and pick it up and take a bite. I got a piece of meatball right on the front there, so this should be a pretty interesting and quick ride. This is surprisingly good. I'm going to take another bite though before I give you my full thoughts. What can I say, guys? I'm not usually a fan of thin crust pizza in any incarnation, but wow, this thing has changed my mind, at least for the time being. The crust is very, very interesting, and it's unique because it's very much like a very crispy, I don't know, like a phyllo dough or something like that when you bite into it. Like I mentioned how I could hear the layers before. I could feel them actually crumbling down like they were almost like a burnt biscuit. If the biscuit that was burnt didn't taste bad, but actually tasted good. It's got almost a buttery complex to it. That's kind of interesting as well. The sauce, not particularly zesty, but it is fairly hearty, and that's pretty good. A little bit of sweetness in there. I like that too. The cheese doesn't have a lot of stretch and pull to it or anything like that, but for a frozen pizza, it's got a good mild flavor with just a little bit of smoke. Gives you a pretty decent blanket to cover that pizza up with. And then the stars of the show, the meatballs. Wow, wow, wow. Those taste pretty good, man. They were juicy. They were tasty. They were meaty. Didn't seem like there was too much filler in them, but there might be, maybe some mushroom involved in there or something like that. But for the most part, they gave you the impression that it was sort of a beefy, porky kind of mix, but maybe not. Maybe that's just in the seasoning, because they are very well seasoned as well, giving you almost a sagey kind of taste in some ways, but not like sausage like sagey, but just a little bit of that or something. I don't know, some kind of spice in there that I may be misidentifying, but they taste very good. All together, man, for $4.99, or even paying 50 cents more like I did for $5.49, this is a pretty good value and a pretty good pizza. I'm going to go ahead and give this bad boy a full thumbs up. I know that's pretty surprising for grocery store brand pizza out of the freezer aisle. I dig on this pizza, man. And I chose this pizza tonight over the DiGiorno Artisan Melts for 2 reasons. First of all, I did DiGiorno last week, so I didn't want to do the same brand 2 weeks in a row. Also, when I actually picked up the box for the DiGiorno Artisan Melts, that box was so light that I was thinking to myself, man, that's going to be like 2 bites and done, even though there's 2 of them in the box. And PizzaNight is also my dinner. It's not just something I'm reviewing, so I needed to make sure I was, fully fed tonight. But I'll get to the Artisan Melts, maybe on a snack brief or something. Who knows? Anyway, full thumbs up for Giant's signature meatball pizza on the thin pastry-style crust. Make sure you go out and get that at your Stop and Shop. They probably have it at Martin's too. What you also want to do, follow us on all the social medias, including starting where it all began on Facebook, by clicking on the link down below in the description. Hundreds of the coolest people in the world are in our group, and you should be too. Why the hell aren't you? Also, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon Reich SAS. Make sure you see all the crazy pictures I post and all the rants and raves that I post and everything like that on all those social medias. And also, use the hashtag Snack Society all day, every day when you're talking about snacks, and that way when you're searching you can find out what we're talking about too. Makes it real easy. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it. Just do it. Also, like, favorite, share, and subscribe. And in the meantime, in between time, we'll see you next time. Have a good time all the time. Bye-bye.